beginning of the present biennium, the estimated revenue was below the totals of the approved appropriations. Measures were instigated at this time to hold the line on allotments of funds pending more accurate information to be gained from the experience of operating with the additional revenue from the new tax legislation. It is satisfying to report that this hold-the-line policy, with the revenue derived from the normal tax structure, coupled with the revenue from the new tax legislation, will result in a balance of funds estimated at $28,444,000 on June 30, 1962. This will be available for appropriation in the 1962-64 biennium. If the proposed methods of financing are adopted, there will be available a sum total of $579,338,000 for general fund appropriations from the following sources: the normal tax structure, balance of fund at June 30, 62, the reenactment of the general fund tax legislation of 1960, and the adoption of a state income tax withholding plan. Record expenditures are proposed for Virginia schools. They are as necessary as they are unavoidable. I can think of nothing more debilitating to progress and growth, more neglectful of human resource, more heedless to imperative obligation to our day and generation and to posterity, more damaging to Virginia's prestige, no more fraught with shame and disaster than complacent acceptance of anything but the primacy of the best in the discharge of our obligation to educate our children of today and tomorrow. It is idle folly and extravagant waste to appropriate public funds to sustain and perpetuate mediocrity. I have no fear that you will be unmindful of the gravity of your responsibility to advance the cause of education in Virginia to that elevation no lower than the highest in the nation. We can and must place Virginia in the forefront of economic strength and growth. Our population growth of nearly 20% in the last decade is expected to be exceeded substantially in the 60s. It is authoritatively estimated that more than 360,000 persons will be added to our workforce by 1970. To provide for this increase, approximately 40,000 new jobs a year will be necessary. Every effort must be made to step up our economic development program. Without substantial increase in job opportunities, Virginia will face an increasingly high rate of unemployment or large-scale out-migration. We cannot afford to decline from the economic progress of the past 10 years. My concern in this field will be reflected in the budget which will be presented. I am confident you will share this concern in your consideration of this very vital problem. The staggering toll of death and destruction on the highways of this nation constitutes a gory chapter in the sordid history of human carnage. The merciless shadow of the grim reaper hovers night and day over the highways of Virginia. We must do something about it or admit our incapacity to cope with the problem. I recommend prompt enactment of the implied consent law. The lethal combination of the drinking driver and the steering wheel of a motor vehicle should be stamped out by law and with strict, speedy, and stern enforcement of that law. I recommend that you give careful consideration to and take remedial action with reference to the flagrant and rampant violation of law by those who continue with impunity to drive upon our highways during the period of suspension or revocation of their permits. These are the people who thumb their noses at the General Assembly and the courts of Virginia by expressing their contempt for law and order and their total disregard for the rights and safety of those who lawfully use our highways.